Sorun here. And here is another Gearend game development stream. Yeah. So, hi. Yeah, so it's been a little while since I last streamed. Let me restart this. It's been a little while since I last streamed. The last time I did was, I guess, a couple of, like last week maybe? Like Monday last week. Some things came up and I wasn't able to stream on Friday. And something came up last Monday, this past Monday. And something came up and I wasn't able to stream again. But I figured since I have the time today, I might as well go ahead and try to stream. So, as you actually saw, I've been basically kind of refining the game. So, I've been polishing it, I've been doing like work on shaders and stuff. Trying to get it looking a little, just a little better, trying to get the water looking better. I added this like light effect where once you go underwater, it's like light beams coming down, and I feel like that's really cool. That's a really cool effect. I just have to kind of tweak it a little bit. One thing I need to tweak specifically is the water surface. I don't like how it's like kind of just a basic wave. This, I mean, like that's not bad. But I kind of want it to like, I kind of want another wave going in the opposite direction, I guess. But it's not bad. Something that actually might be cool. Yeah, it doesn't really have any like peaks. That's kind of something that it's kind of missing. So I'll have to look into that a little bit. But it's looking pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's not bad. So what I'm going to do now is something I just thought of. Smoke on damage. Play sound only if... Actually, it only needs to do this if g.frustum, inside frustum, okay. So basically, what this component I made does is it spouts smoke when the damage on the entity is high enough. It only needs to do that if it's actually on screen naturally. So that's good. That should be helpful. So something I added to BDX to the engine was shader hot loading. I added that feature in like over the past yesterday, maybe yesterday and the day before. I'll show that real quick. So yeah, this is the, let me pull this over here slightly. There we go. So basically, when you make a change, it'll automatically go ahead and just reload the shader if it detects that there's a change, which is really useful, especially for a game that's kind of big like mine, because it takes, as you saw, it takes a couple seconds for it to start up and a couple seconds for it to fully close. So well, it doesn't really take too much time to fully close, but you know, closing, like you can start a new process while the current one is finishing, but yeah, it takes a little bit of time. So this little feature will be useful. Let me get some music going. Let me also, okay, I think the desktop audio should be pretty quiet, shouldn't be too bad. If you can't hear my voice, let me know. But basically, yeah, this nice little feature should be rather useful when it comes to like testing out how your shaders look while you're making them. And it works for both screen shaders as well as material shaders, which I can show here. Water frag, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and say like, oh, we want, I'm not trying to put it on the side. There we go. Let's say we want like, I don't know, let's say we want like a stronger whatever. Wait a second. It might be that this isn't working. Oh, no, it is. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually working not bad. It's kind of interesting. Actually, a tint might be a good idea. I guess actually it already is tinted. That's fine. It already is kind of a slight tinting. Oh, that's what that was. Okay, yeah, that makes the light parts brighter. Yeah, that's way too strong. But that's the idea. So being able to like really quickly like tweak and adjust adjust stuff is really important when it comes to like, you know, trying to see like how your game looks and oh snap, how just ended up running into him anyway. Trying to see like how your game works, looks, and like what you can do to kind of make it look nicer, and like, you know, kind of minimizing friction is important. So it's nice to have like the ability to kind of adjust the. It's kind of loud. There we go. It's very nice to be able to adjust the shaders while you're making them, and, you know, kind of have control over that. So that's nice. So this stream is going to be kind of boring, I guess, because one of the things I needed to do before release is master the audio. So I'm going to be doing that. Also, I wanted to kind of just, yeah, show a little bit of this shader reloading working, and do some other things. Like, I'm at the stage where basically it's done, so I can't like just show me playing through the game, because that would be kind of a spoiler. So I want to kind of, you know, oops, I kind of want to like leave that for another time, like showing the game in its entirety. You can watch maybe a streamer or a let's player play through the game, hopefully. So I'm not too worried too much about like showing it in its entirety yet. Currently, actually that probably would be a good idea. Yeah, actually that will kind of sink down. I'm just thinking quietly to myself, because basically, actually this needs to be black. That's probably what I'm missing. There we go. Also more in the front. Yeah. All right, so that's useful. That should be what I need, I think. Okay, so yeah, mastering the music and audio, the sounds and stuff is important also. So I'm gonna do that. Oh, I actually didn't show the comm zone. Let me do that. I made some minor changes to it that hopefully should make it look a little nicer. There we go. So one of the things I added was basically like I had a heat wave effect, but now I made it so that the effect is strongest in the distance, with the furthest background. So like the close dunes aren't as strong as aren't as like hot, so to speak, as the far dunes. So it's like a really minor effect, but a really minor change rather. But I think it like makes it look a lot more. Whoops, I missed my button. I was like, which button am I supposed to be pushing? Okay. Yeah, I think it looks like a subtle effect, but it looks very nice. Islander Soda says, are the layers just the Y coordinates? The layers are the Z coordinates, this depth. This is a fully 3D engine, so the backgrounds are like arranged in terms of depth. So you can, wait a second. like this. So this is the far plane, this is the middle plane, and this is the near plane. So yeah, this is, hold on, this music is, let me get something a little nicer. That's fine, let's go with this. Okay, so yeah, it's not just Y coordinates, it's basically each layer has its own depth. And I'm rendering to a depth texture to get the depth of each of these. I don't actually need to do that. I can just have each of these rendered with the shader, with the heat wave shader. That would be probably a better approach to this, rather than depending on a depth texture. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing to kind of save some render speed. Rather than rendering things twice, I can just render it once. Ah. Got him. A little bit of an NPC quest kind of thing you can talk to. And get something to do, possibly. And so something I actually, oh snap, something I actually like about this enemy is it's really hard to hit them with like the gun or the missile, but it's easier, more so, to hit them with the sword. So it's like, it actually does work that like you do want to have different weapons at different times. So that's good, that's great. You know, the fact that it actually does work. Like the weapons actually are useful. Okay, so that's cool. So the way that I'm doing shader hot loading is pretty simple. What I'm doing is basically, well, before the screen shader and the material shader were two different classes basically, and they still are. But they were almost all, like a lot of them was sharing. A lot of the internals were similar between them. So I now am extending from a base shader class. So like a material shader or a screen shader can be hot loaded. A material shader or a screen shader has a program associated with it. They can both be turned off through activating, changing their active property. They both hold a reference to the shaders themselves as well as the handle, if there is a file handle. They both can have prefixes. Only material shaders really need a prefix, but screen shaders can as well. And they both support uniform sets, which is the method of setting uniforms. And this is done specifically to avoid shader switches. A shader switch is when the rendering engine switches, I believe, is when the rendering engine switches between basically the shader it's currently using and another shader. And previous to implementing uniform sets, what BDX was doing was basically, like, in order to set a uniform, you would start another shader, set the uniforms, and close out that shader in your code, in your logic code. But obviously that like I just said, it's bad because it causes a shader switch. So what I did was create a uniform set, which is a class specifically designed to be overridden. And all it does is just provide a function that gets called when the shader is being used to draw. So this is just something to allow you to set uniforms. You have a program, the shader program, specifically being used to, implement the shader. And then we have a couple of variables that control and indicate if a shader program should be updated. So like the core of the hot loading process is basically right here. If hot loading is on and the fragment shader or vertex shader file handles have been updated, then it goes ahead and says, yeah, you need to update the program. Update when the last time you basically try to load, which is right now, you know, and then create a new vertex and fragment shaders from create new vertex and fragment shaders from the files. Then we say, okay, if there is no shader program, or we're trying to update a shader program, then we try to create a new shader program in a temporary variable. Actually, I guess I could just do this. And if it does work and compiles, then we're good, and we can just assign that to our shader program, like our actual shader program field. But if not, then we basically say, hey, there was an error, you might want to do something about it, and we get rid of the temporary shader program. That's about it. The program, I'm sorry, this function, the compile function, also returns the program if it was compiled. Otherwise, it doesn't return anything. So, and this alternate method of doing this is to have a set shader function that set shader function that sets the vertex and fragment shaders, and it indicates that the program should be updated. And then when it comes through the next frame, or next time it tries to render using the shader, it goes ahead and says, oh, I need to update the program here, and then it recompiles. So this entire thing is made to basically support hot loading of material shaders or screen shaders. And really, I mean, it's really the shader that does all the heavy lifting. The screen shader has some special stuff that material shaders don't have use for, like rendering scale, whether it's overlaying, being drawn over the existing kind of game render or not, the filtering used, you know, kind of stuff like that. While the material shader just doesn't really have much of anything because it doesn't really do anything. It just has some functions. Basically, this is like the main important part of the material shaders, just giving kind of an easy way to load them from the 3D shaders path, rather than having to type it all yourself. So that's pretty much how the hot loading works, which is nice. It works pretty well. Not too complex. Gets the job done. Seems to, at least. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is basically, this is gonna be kind of, like I said, kind of a boring stream, but we're going to be mastering all of our tracks because they need to be mastered before we actually use them, and while everything works. Whoops, dropping some water. Okay, let's see. Okay. So the mastering process, actually, I mean, this is going to be kind of boring, so I'll probably do this off camera, but I'll show exactly what my plan is for doing this. It basically boils down to having something, which I have here. It's called a hard limiter, but you can just do the same thing with, I believe, a distortion unit. And that's basically, the goal is to make it as loud as possible without, like, distorting the sound, and clipping. So I'll show you what clipping looks like. Right there, when it turns red, that means some of the data is being lost, and it's clipping. So we want to avoid that. So it was like roughly at 60% before. That's good. So what I usually do is I push the power up to max and then adjust the output volume until just before it clips, and then take the power back down to a nice amount where it's boosting the volume, but it's also not killing the sound. So I'll show you kind of what it looks like before, or what it looks like here. So we'll reset the values. And you see how kind of quiet it sounds? But when we raise the volume, yeah, we get some clipping. So rather than that, we want to raise kind of the baseline, the base volume, but we also want to lower the we want to like raise the base volume, but we also want to keep the peaks and stuff basically at where they're at. So that's where we're trying to like compress it, not compress it. We're trying to limit it so it chops off the top, but raises the base volume. I'll show it anyway. Bizamov or Bizamo. BSIMO, I'm not sure how to say your name. Is that the game? What is that software? This is Sunvox. This is what I use to make my music. It's free on desktop. You can get it in the link in the description. I believe I put the link there. I think I did. The music creation program I'm using is called Sunvox. Yeah, so you can find it there. So it's quiet, as you can hear. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually control the desktop audio and like make it really quiet so that it doesn't blow anybody's ears out. But as I raise the power, you can hear it getting really crunchy. And then once we see that I'm gonna make it a little quieter because I can't hear. Once we see that like straight kind of square volume, we raise the output volume until it's clipping, just before clipping. So that's basically the maximum we can get out of volume. We can take the power back down to like 1. And so it's no longer clipping. Let me raise it back up. There we go. So once we get it to this stage, what we can do is kick up the power to raise the volume, but without it clipping. But you hear that kind of crunchiness. We want to avoid the crunchiness, but we want the volume to raise. That's pretty good. Good. So that's what I'm gonna have to do for each of these songs. At least the ones that I use in the game. There's quite a few that I don't actually use. But for the ones that are actually used in the game, I need to properly master them so that they're equal volume. And then I need to do that especially with the sound. I need to make all the sounds equal volume so that it's not like, you know, certain sounds are kind of quiet or whatever the case is. BSIMO says, does it compare to stuff like FL Studio? Yeah, it's a tool. It's a DAW. It's a digital audio workstation. It's a tool to use to create music. It's a different style in that it's tracker style, like Zedemek said. But the idea is basically the same in that it's used to program and create music. So with usual music creation programs like FL Studio, Reason, what you have is a piano roll, which is, you know, you have something like this, a piano, but it's usually displayed vertically, and the notes are on a grid horizontally. So you have like, you know, da 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 da, whatever, like that. And a pattern contains notes, you know, that you can at least see on the piano roll. And in that example, Sunvox is different in that it's tracker style, and for trackers, the notes are displayed in text and are displayed going from top down. So it's a little different, but the concept is the same in that we're entering notes, we're playing them using instruments. Sunvox is a little different in that you have modules which can connect to other modules, and they can chain together to create, you know, kind of different sounds and expand on a previous module sound. So it's a pretty kind of unique, easy to use but very powerful approach to, and modern approach to tracker music style music creation programs. That's why I like it, is that it's very clean, it's very simple, but it's also got a lot of options. So you can actually hear, let's see, let's go with this, let's go with, yeah, 4. So these orange notes here are determining the notes. Yeah. So these orange notes are determining the notes being played, and together they make a chord. These squares indicate a note off command, and that's where basically where the notes let go. And anytime you see these like hashed notes or hashed lines, that indicates that the note is still playing. So it's pretty simple. Visually, it's not very complex. There's other things too, like effects. You can also automate, you know, module properties changing and things like that. But overall, the actual visual look of it is very clean. Let's see. ZMX says, if you want a free FL Studio, you could try LMS. Yeah. Yeah, that's also a really nice alternative, I believe. I haven't used it much, but it, you know, seems pretty powerful. I think you have VST support, so that's a huge plus. In case you're a fan of using lots of custom instruments from other people and other things like that. ET, it's like the Matrix. No, it's not quite like the Matrix. It's not that complex. It might seem a little complex, but it's not really actually that hard to get into. The more you use it, the easier it becomes, of course. And it's just a little non-standard slash different. ZMX says a tracker is a software mostly for making trip tunes. No, not really. It's not. A tracker isn't. A tracker is just something. Is a method of. A tracker is a kind of. A tracker is just a kind of music creation program. It doesn't have to be any specific kind of music. Like Milky Tracker and Famine Tracker are both trackers made specifically for making chiptunes. That's true, but a tracker is not a chiptune creation, music creation tool. Like I believe Reaper. No, not Reaper. Is it Reaper? There's one. I gotta look it up now. Is it Reaper, or I'm thinking of something else? No, it's not Reaper. Is it? No, it's not Reaper. It's, I can't think of the other one. It starts with the R though, I think. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an R. Somebody might say it in chat. Not Reaper. It's. I keep thinking Record, but that's not it. It's called. Man, I cannot remember the name of it. It starts with an R. I think. Read. No, it's not Read. Whatever. It's basically there's one like very kind of a popular commercial like tracker interface style DAW, but it's kind of rare. But DAWs, music creation programs, are very rare in general. Like there's not that many options. Renoise. Oh yeah, that's Renoise. That's the one. Yeah. Oh wait, I never switched off. Oh. Oh my goodness, this entire time I've been sitting here without my, okay, that was my bad, genuine. I'm super sorry. I didn't even realize my, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was playing the video this entire time, dude. I was just like doing the pre-roll. Oh, I stopped the preview to I always stop the preview to keep my. Man, this is a shame. I feel like just like starting straight over. I'm gonna start over. This is, oh man, I am so sorry. This is like, no, this is I've been streaming for 30 minutes. I've been streaming for 30 minutes. And I did not have... Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, guys. Like, no one said nothing, though. I thought that... Oh, man. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm gonna start over. I don't know what to do. How do I start over? I don't even know. Like, I don't think I can start over, really. I think I can try. Let me try something real quick. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Wait. Someone's saying wait. Why should I wait? I've been streaming for 35 minutes on, like, the, you know, get ready for the stream video. I need to redeem myself. Oh, man. No, I've been... Oh. Okay. That's weird. What? It showed up in... I switched something. Okay, I switched something like right in like 4 minutes ago. I don't know what I did. I don't know why that happened. Okay. Okay, my mistake. Alright. It was weird because I switched to... I looked at Open Broadcaster and I had it on the waiting thing. I don't know what happened. Okay, sorry about that. I was like... I was tripping so hard. I thought for sure that I just left it on for like 30 minutes straight. Okay. Alright. So, this is a tracker. This is tracker style. A music creation program. This is also a tracker style music creation program, Renoise. And you can see like it has the same interface where it has notes, it has instrument, volume, I guess, and then like effect. And they have other like tools, but that's basically the idea. Is that's the kind of the main draw, I guess you could say, like to kind of make it different. Let's see, Patrick, I kind of want to hear that music again. Well, if you want to hear it, you can actually kick back to the beginning of the stream. I was playing it while I was waiting, while I was kind of getting things squared away. Okay, so that's what I need to do basically for each of these songs is kick up the volumes that's nice and loud, and do the same thing for the sounds, and then test them and kind of determine how loud they should be in game. Because like some of the sounds are kind of quiet, and I don't like to have the sound's quietness be determined by the sound itself, but I'd rather have it in code. E.T. I started with Fast Tracker 2 in like 1994. Yeah, trackers have been around for a while. They kind of went out of style, I guess. Like when people were making music for like the Commodore 64 and stuff like that, I think they used tracker-styled music creation programs like Fast Tracker, or I can't remember what the popular one was, Atari ST Tracker, something like that. And then like once you hit maybe like 2000, you had like Fruity Loops, you had Reason, you had Cubase, and all of Steinberg, I guess, is the people who make it, like that company's stuff. You have Logic kind of coming around. So like the more like they kind of jumped out of that style of GUI. But then you have like Sunvox and Renoise and maybe other modern DAWs that kind of still do tracker style stuff. And it's very nice. It's very nice to be able to... It's a different approach. Being able to see it on a piano roll is nice, like, you know, in more of a logical format. But this also kind of lets you know text-wise what your music's doing. So like you can see, oh, that's out of my key immediately, just because it's like, oh, this is C sharp, and over here, let's say I had like a C. It's like, okay, well, I know I don't have C in my key. You know, I already know it's out of off key, or you know, different things like that. Having a little more control. It's a little more control over each individual note, and each note can also have its own like set of effects. So it's a different kind of approach to music creation. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do that on stream because that would just be boring, I think. Well, yeah, that would probably be. That's just too boring. That'd just be too boring. So maybe I'll do something else, or maybe I'll take a break and play a game. I have to figure out exactly what I want to do. Because in case you're coming to the stream just now and you're a little late, I'm basically like approaching completion on the game. So either I would cut the stream short and just do the rest of it like off stream, and then you'll maybe see a video, you know, in the next day or 2 or 3 that says like, hey, you can, you know, buy a Gearend because I've tested it and it's done and stuff. or I could, you know, take a break or whatever. So we'll see. BSI Mo says, "Is that C#?" No, this is GLSL actually. This is Java. So BDX is the engine I use for my game for Gearend. It looks like this once it loads. Taking a little bit longer than usual. Also kind of choppy because I'm streaming. But yeah, this is what the game looks like. And it works pretty well. There's music, but I just silenced it for just to kind of you know, work with other music in the background. So this is the game, what it looks like. This is a 2D Metroid-like. I've been working on it for around a year and a half, and it's basically done. So this game was made using the BDX game engine, which is basically an engine that integrates into Blender. And you can actually get it in the link in the description, in my description of this stream / video if you're watching it later. You can see the game engine and kind of download it and check it out. It's a nice game engine. It's made for 3D games, but I'm doing a 2D game in it. This is what the game looks like. It's basically a 2D, just a ordinary 2D game kind of, but stretched out into 3D. Yeah. Oh, and that's why I brought this up. The language it uses is Java. It's based on Java. And GLSL is the graphical shader language. I'm trying to think of like what GLSL stands for, but I can't remember. I think it might graphics something shader language, something like that. It's the shader language. It's basically C++. GLSL is C++ with like an inherent API and special like variables you can assign to like activate different things, like, you know, change the color of a rendered pixel, that kind of a thing. So yeah, this game is going really well, and it's almost done. Now, I'm feeling like I have to decide what to do. I'm still not quite sure. Okay. So I still need to do this with the music and sound. What do I have on my notes? What do I have any issues that need to be squared away? Oh, I need to add another menu to the pause screen. I can do that. Alright, I'll do that. Yeah, I might also... I'm probably not going to do anything with sound, with any more sound. I need to finish this up like ASAP. Yeah, so mastering is like necessary. Like I need to do that. Okay. Islander Soda says, after working with BDX, would you use it again? Yes. I'm pretty sure I would use it again. Even for a 2D game, I think I would use it again. Like, I put in a lot of work on the engine to improve it, make it more usable, make it easier, make it quicker. I don't regret putting my time in on that at all. And I think that it's a really solid engine overall. I feel like it's not necessarily perfect, but it does work really well. And what it does well, it does do really well. It doesn't do everything, but it does do, you know, a few things, so to speak, really well. So like, even in this situation where like I put all of these blocks here, I put all these tiles, I put in all this work to make this game, I could have done this a much more smart way. So like I'm a huge fan of I think I like the way the game turned out. I think that if I did it again, it would be much more efficient. I would be able to make it much faster. So I'm not super like down on the engine. I think it's just basically me and learning how to make games. I'm still learning. BSI Mo. After which do you think is better, Unity or BDX? Probably Unity. And I mean, honestly, I think Unity is probably more efficient. I think Unity has a bigger community. and you can get like tutorials and stuff for it. I still prefer BDX just because that's what I like. I like having everything in Blender. I like having a really lightweight and small open source code base, so I can like easily add things and fix things and do stuff. Whereas Unity, you know, you're just waiting on the Unity Technologies people to do what you want them to do. So, I mean, like if you want something like realistic or something easy to use, yeah, Unity. But if you want like something lightweight, like if you're the kind of person who, if you're a new developer, you might want Unity. You can use BDX. I would recommend the engine, but if you're like a new developer who's like, oh, I don't know how to program yet, it's like, okay, yeah, you probably want to use Unity, pick up a couple of tutorials. But if you're the kind of person who's like, I'm gonna figure it out no matter what, like I am my community, then yeah, BDX is probably good for you. It's probably fine because you're not the kind of person who requires help from others to figure out problems. Really, like making this game, I mean, you know, BDX, as you know, is a very, like, maybe 3 or 4 people use it. Like, it's very small, very, very rarely used. Maybe 10 people, I don't know, use it or know about it. Like, you know, to the point where they know, like, what's going on with the engine, or they use it on a regular basis. So I don't really have a lot of, like, community to talk to when it comes to, like, oh, you know, this isn't working correctly. So really it boils down to me looking in the source code and seeing why is this, you know, confirming, is this a bug or is this intended design, talking on the GitHub for it and saying, like, you know, this is a bug, or should we do this, or how do we approach this issue, you know, designing solutions for it. Like, that's what I love about this engine, despite the fact that it's not very complex. Like, I wrote this class, I wrote the ability to do screen shaders, I wrote the ability to do material shaders. It's not a lot of code, it's not very hard, but I wrote that stuff myself, and being able to come back and be like, this could be improved, this is not bad, but it needs to be better. Like, I love that. I love having that ability. You know, if I was using Unity, it would already be done, but if there was an issue or if I wanted to add something, I wouldn't be able to do it. Even if it was open source, I wouldn't be able to do it, probably, because Unity is a huge program. It does a whole bunch of things, whereas BDX is a relatively small engine. It really only touches like these classes, and they're all pretty much exactly what they look like. Like, we don't have, like, you know, 8 things that do the job of one thing. Like, these 8 classes comprise the sprite anim class. Like, you don't really have that. Whereas in Unity, or just bigger pieces of software, you might have, like, oh, this is a window class that comprises, you know, some basic elements for window stuff, and then you have like a game class that extends the window class, and then you have like a scene class that goes into the game class, and then you have like a layer class that goes, I mean, like, where it's like you kind of have to work your way through the source code to kind of understand. So yeah, I like this engine because it's so simple, basically. Like, it's purely just reading data from Blender and giving you something to make games with. It doesn't do code editor stuff. It doesn't do, you know, visualization of things. There's no ability to, like, show the game in Blender, you know, in a way that it would require us to put in a lot of code. Maybe we could do that later, but there's not any support for that currently, which is fine, because you can, you know, you can just run the game. So, I mean, like, I like that the engine is pretty simple. So anyway, I'm just kind of ranting. But yeah, I like it. Really like it. It's a good game engine. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's see. So, I still have to master this stuff. Let me see about adding this menu, because that's something I have been kind of neglecting, and I think I need to do it. BSIMO, how much is the game going to be? It's going to be $10 with a 10% sale, I believe. So it's going to be $9, like, for the first week or two or whatever. At least on Steam. I have to figure it out, because I'm going to launch on itch maybe, like, very soon, and it's going to be, you know, whatever it is on itch. But on Steam, it's going to have probably a 10% sale, so it's going to be $9, But Steam release is going to be a little later, so I kind of want to build up some community on itch, kind of get people a little bit into it, and kind of testing it, and playing the game through and resolving their concerns, and then I'll go ahead and launch on itch. I'm sorry, launch on Steam. That's the idea. Maybe with like Steam achievements and stuff. So, but I want to make sure I get the game out like done first, like completely done, patched, good, rather than wasting time, so to speak, working on achievements and trading cards and all that stuff, and the game's not done. Like, that's not. I don't want to do that. So, okay, system. Let's go ahead and see about this. Okay, so this is the other menu that we need to add. Quit cam point. So what we're gonna do, I need actually shoot, I don't remember how I do this. And they're like, even despite like all this stuff about like I like this engine and stuff, I still wrote a lot of bad code in my game that I would love to like fix. That's just like, it's not really clear what it's doing. It doesn't really work as well as it should. So like, if I ever get if enough people buy this where I can make a job out of making games, I would love to like revisit, another game. Like, I would love to keep making games, just to get better at coding, get better at giving cool experiences and stuff. So we'll see how it all works out. So the current issue is basically I need the ability to switch between menus. So actually, I guess it's the map controller that does this. Because once you're paused, you can press left and right. Is that right? Yeah, okay. This is what we're looking at. So instead of a equip screen, we want probably an enum. Screen that controls if we're at the equip screen, the map screen, or the quit screen. Actually, I guess I should probably do it in order. Quit, map, quit. Okay. Then we have a variable that controls that. Screen equals map, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Screen. Okay, so here we say if you press right, I might be able to just do like screen plus equal 1. Does that work? No. So I think I might be able to do it like screen equals screen dot. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's like a kind of a smooth way to do this. Value of. So I can get it by name. I can get value. So I guess I can do it like this. Like I could do it like that, but I need to increment the thing. Yeah. Islander Soda says, is Blender doing the rendering, or is it just the renderer? Is Blender doing the rendering? No, Blender isn't doing the rendering. Underneath the hood, BDX is just an extension of libgdx. It integrates libgdx with Blender, so basically it's just an ordinary libgdx game that runs on Java, and so it uses OpenGL for rendering. I feel like it does. What's the? Oh, right. I think it has different backends, like LWJGL 2 and 3. So like, there's different fundamental, like, it's kind of different ways for the game to render, but like different kind of backends. But basically, it uses OpenGL. Blender is just the editor. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. If screen equals screen dot equip. Screen dot map. This is kind of strange because I feel like, well, I guess I could do it. because I feel like there's an easy, kind of smooth way to do this, but I'm not really doing it correctly. So we'll do this. Int equals sv, or int sv equals screen dot value of screen dot name. That doesn't give an integer. That gives oh, okay. It converts from name. Okay, it converts from string to value to the actual thing. Okay, I kind of wish like it was like 1, 2, 3 kind of a thing. It's kind of strange. I feel like there's a way to do it, but I don't know how. Value of, it gives the values 0, 1, 2. Okay, well, I can't do, yeah. Okay, well, whatever. That's fine. No, wait, I thought there was like an ordinals thing. That's weird. What happened to my autocomplete? It's kind of conked out right now. Oh, okay, it's doing something down here. Okay, that's what, yeah, it's... Why is it doing this? It's weird. Yeah, I feel like there was an ordinals function that does this. Like, that does what I'm looking for. Overstruck Studio says, yo, what's up, Solar? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, this is so strange because I'm almost positive I remember an ordinals thing that kind of like correlates an enum to a number. Or am I just missing? Wait a second. Screen dot. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. Alright, so what we're going to do, this is screen values equals screen dot values, and then we say int sv equals screen dot ordinal. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Alright, so then we can say if bdx.imaps.hit right sv plus plus, if bdx.imaps.hit left sv minus minus, and then we can clamp the value to the kind of range of the possible screens. Zero to sv, and then, or no, wait, sv, yeah, no, that's right, 0 sv, and then the max could be values dot size length, values dot length. Okay, so yeah, sorry, I'm just like having some trouble here. And then we can write it back. Screen equals screen dot value of, or screen equals values sv. Okay. Ugh. Luke Johnson. Meanwhile, all the way on the gear end of the spectrum, Solar Room was programming a thing for the stuff. Yeah, basically. I'm doing something like completely unnecessary because I wanted to do it the nice way. Like, I could have just said, if you press right, and then if the screen is map, then you go from the map screen to the equip screen, and then if otherwise, if the screen, I could have just done it like that. But I wanted to do it the correct way, which is basically, I think, this, where we say, okay, give me the number that the screen is, and then increment or decrement the number when we press right or left. and then clamp it to the possible range of values, which is 0, 1, or 2. You know, 0. The maximum is either 0 or SV if it's... Like, give me the value... Between 0 and SV, give me the maximum value. And then between whatever you got from there and the length of the possible number of screens, minus 1, because you have 3 screens. You want it to go from 0, 1 to 2. So that's 3 minus 1, 2. You get the minimum of that number. So basically, I'm just clamping. And then we're good. So now we can say if screen is equal to equip, this is what we should do. Okay, so this is if we're in the map screen. In this, let's see. This is problematic because it might not have been initialized. Okay, so let's create a new vector 3f. Or actually, we don't need to do that. Okay, so if we're not on the map screen and we're not on the equipment screen, then we're on the quit screen. And we say target cam position equals scene.objects.get, and we're looking for quit cam point. Oh, dot position. And then also we want to position the equip cursor where we need to be. So the equip cursor is over here. It's this thing. So we really want, I guess, another cursor here that kind of like basically gives the option to quit. Yeah, this is going to be the quit cursor. Let's export that. Now over here, we can get the quit cursor. I keep thinking like a nice way to do this might be to like have some sort of internal thing that like allows you to get a game object by name without you manually setting this. Like rather than setting the reference ourselves, BDX could just kind of like give you the object. I'm not quite sure how we would do that, but that seems like it'd be a cool thing to add. Or maybe some sort of like exported data thing where you can be like bdx.objects and it will be something that you kind of can autocomplete, or just a nicer way to do that. Oh, right. So this is the uniform set thing I was talking about previously, how uniforms are set. I said the uniform set is basically just a class that's meant to be overridden and it has a set function that gets, you know, basically you provide the set function with the value, the uniforms you want to set on the shader program, and that's what we're doing. So for the blur shader, we say, okay, here we're setting the uniforms for the shader program of the blur shader. We're setting the strength, and that's what this does. Pretty straightforward. Let's see. We don't really need that. The thing we're gonna do now, we got the quit cursor. Okay, so we're gonna say. Actually, do we need to do anything with the? Oh, does the equip cursor not rotate? It's supposed to. Okay, I think it's not. Alright, well, whatever. So we're going to have the equip cursor. We're going to have the quit cursor, rather. Move slightly back and forth. Boop, boop, boop. Math.sign. bdx.time. 0, 0. Okay. And we're going to multiply that by like 0.01f. That should be good. Let's see. Luke Johnson, is BDX an engine or a framework or both? It's kind of like both. It's not an engine by itself. It integrates with Blender. So it's an add-on that you install into Blender that allows you to use Blender as your editor. And when you basically click on, you know, export and run or export BDX data, BDX handles exporting data from Blender to use in the to use with libgdx, which is how like rendering happens, how inputs are checked, how sound is played, how all that stuff. So like, it's not really an engine, but it's not really a framework. It's kind of like a middleman. It spans Blender and libgdx, and it also provides functions like movement, collision checking, material setting, material customization and altering. You know, checking if you're within frustrums of cameras, checking, you know, that kind of stuff. So it does kind of like a little bit of everything to kind of give you an engine out of the basic parts of libgdx and Blender, kind of. So yeah, it's kind of like both. Okay, so currently this should have this thing moving back and forth, but we also want to actually be able to quit. So the short quit prompt needs to be invisible. And if you're on the map screen, then the short quit prompt, actually we need to set that, create that. Okay, yeah. We need to create that up here. Alright, so map. Map. Okay. So the short quit prompt should be invisible if you're on any other screen. But if you're on the quit screen and you hit what is it? Accept. Then we set we do something if the quit prompt is visible, otherwise we set it to be visible. Okay, so the idea is that basically you press it once, it says, hey, are you sure? You press it again, and then you're good to go, and it goes ahead and quits. I need to also look into localization. That's something that I have yet to really do. Oh, actually, yeah, okay. So you have the quit, you got this, which could be really more there, yeah. Let's see, let's go back to ComZone. Let's export again, because I messed something up. Yeah, it's gonna export everything, okay. Let's see, so over here, if you do accept to quit, it should basically go all the way back to the beginning of the game, more or less. So I guess that means like it should get rid of all existing scenes and then create the title screen scene. Let's see, Genome36 says, geez, last time I used BDX was a year, BGE was a year ago. Yeah, I know, I have neglected it. This isn't BGE, so that, yeah, but yeah, the BGE is a pretty nice engine as well. People have made some cool things in it. I think it still needs some work on, like, not really usability, but like on like some just like core features that aren't really like that great visually or anything, but just really help with performance, like static object batching / merging, that kind of stuff. Like that specifically would be a huge help for BGE games, I think. I'm not sure if they have it yet, because that would be like that would allow you to make like some nice, pretty, you know, large games, I feel like. Let's see. Short quit prompt not visible. Right. So for scene s in bdx.scenes s.end, Luke Johnson says, if BDX is a middleman, does that mean you made the physics engine partially from scratch? No, not quite. I didn't make the physics engine. This is what I'm looking for. The physics engine is basically Bullet. It's a port of Bullet, JBullet to be specific. So Bullet is a physics engine that we use for BDX. It's also used in libGDX, but the now hold on, BSI Mao, can you ask a question on Sprite? Yeah, please feel free, because I use it. Yes, I do. So please feel free to ask if you have any questions. But yeah, we didn't make the engine ourselves. I didn't make the engine myself. This isn't my engine that I'm using, BDX. It's like Genome36 said, it's Goran Milovanovic's engine, and it's open source, and I just contribute to it and use it as well. So I didn't make it, I didn't come up with it, but I do contribute on a pretty regular basis, I guess you could say, and I have done a lot of fixes and stuff like that to kind of improve the engine overall. Can see McFluxface, I don't understand this, but can I still say yes? Please feel free to stay, regardless of if you understand everything or not. And if you need any help understanding, please ask, and I can break things down a little differently, rather than glossing over certain things. Yeah. BSI Mao. How do you make good colors without it looking muddy? That's a good question. Let's bring up Sprite. So, I mean, like, it does it. A lot of stuff when it comes to colors is about. I'm not sure if this is gonna load. A lot of stuff when it comes to colors is about having good contrast and having good differences of saturation and stuff. You just have to differentiate the colors effectively. Yeah, it's not gonna load. I don't know why it's not loading today, but basically, yeah, I started from Steam. Basically, when you go and like start to decide your colors, this is a palette I pre-made. But if you go ahead and start to decide your colors, let's say we're making like some kind of like little blobby dude, like so. There we go. So you say, okay, I have a base color that's this blue right here. That's pretty good. So you say, okay, well, we need a color that's different. Kanxi says, can you show me what you got so far? The thumbnail looks pretty cool. I guess you mean of the game? Sure. I'll show that in, after this. So this is the color we have for our character. Let's say it's a little too bright. So let's make something a little closer to aquamarine and a little more desaturated. There we go. So we want him to have eyes, right? So we give him some eyes. Like so. And then we say, okay, we want to also give him some shoes. So now you say, okay, well, we want to give him some shoes, but we don't want a color that's really close, you know, because that kind of makes it look a little muddy, right? So you say, okay, we need a color that's kind of close to his skin color, maybe, or maybe we want a color completely different. If you want a color completely different, you can just obviously choose a different color. But if you want a color that's kind of similar, you want to pay attention to value and saturation. Well, saturation being here and value being here. So you say, okay, here's the color we have. We want something a little darker. So let's say you go, you can see, is that, yeah, okay, I guess this is, okay, I can't point to it with my mouse cursor, but you see at the bottom left, it says, there's the eyedropper, there's the color, it says HSV, and then you have the degree, 227 degree, 85 saturation, and 100% volume, 100% value. So if you want something a little darker, I tend to go for like, let's say 15-20%. So you have 100%, let's say 80. So that gives a nice, not too much of a difference, but a little bit of a difference. And if you say, oh, I want something a little more, then you can go ahead and just bump it up a little bit, or bump it down a little bit and go a little further. There you go. Now if you say, okay, well, how else can I do this? Well, colors comprise, as you can see, of hue, saturation, and volume. Hue, saturation, and value. So if you want a color to be different, you can adjust any of those. So if you want this color, but you want it to be slightly more different, you might take it around. Actually, let's see if we can do this a little more objectively. Okay, so you say, okay, let's make it a little different. Let's take it around to more of a blue tone. So our skin color for the character is here at 227, and our feed color is here at 248. Now it's slightly darker. Now it's a little, it's, you know, not really, it didn't change value, it didn't change saturation, but it is slightly darker. And because of colors, the way they work, like changing something from a, let's say, green to a blue does change, even if the saturation doesn't change, and the value doesn't change, the colors can change. Like a 100%, a 50%, we'll say, value full saturation green is going to be lighter than a 50% full saturation blue, because blue is just it's a darker perceivable color. So I'm just saying that basically just changing the hue makes it feel darker because it's closer to actual blue because of the way our brains perceive color. So in other words, just to kind of give a, I guess, shorthand to your question, you have a lot of options available to you when it comes to color, and you want to avoid making colors that are very close and similar, and you have basically hue, saturation, and value to change how your colors look and feel. Let's see. Luke Johnson, how long have you been programming, doing pixel art, and composing? I have been doing that stuff for like 15 years, something like that. I started when I was like 10 years old, something like that, somewhere around there. And it's been a long time. But I haven't done it like consistently the entire time. I haven't been making obviously good things that entire time. I've been getting better and better over the years, especially recently, because I've been trying to work on projects like really heavily, and Gearend specifically. It looks pretty good now, I feel like. And I feel like if I were to make a sequel, it would look a lot better, just because of time and how much time I put into making the game. So that's good. Very good. Very nice. Cool. Cool little dude. Okay. Boop. Now, Lottie, yes, I remember you. Hello. McFace. Okay, call you Mr. McFace? Alright. Mayor McCheese. Mr. McFace. Okay, my old name used to be not PG, and YouTube don't like that, so they took my name away. Welp. Welp. Yeah. Okay. Good thing you have a actual pronounceable name at this point, and not something that I couldn't say on my stream. Okay, so yes, can I show you the game? Okay, cool. I can do that. I think this should work. Let's see. So I'm just doing something real quick to allow you to be able to cancel out of the quit process. But this is what the game looks like. It's choppy. It does hit 60 FPS on my computer, and it's using like 50% of the core, of one core. So it's not actually too heavy. I managed to optimize it pretty well, I think. But yeah, it just looks a little choppy because I'm streaming and I have VSync on, so it can't even like really hit, you know, prime levels. But this is the game. It is a 2D Metroid-like where you control a robot called Epsilon, named Epsilon rather, and you walk around a robotics facility and fight enemies. Yeah, sorry that's choppy. Yeah, I think it, like I said, I think it has to do with forcing VSync on, which is just, yeah, it's not quite what I would like. But I think I have to have VSync on, otherwise you get tearing on the stream, which is a shame. But yeah, it's kind of choppy right now. I'm not sure exactly why. I guess just having multiple things open, lots of things open. So that probably, you know, when you play it at home, it should be much smoother. So you can equip different parts, and each part has its own abilities and powers and stuff, and yeah. Your goal is to kind of traverse the entire place. This is the communications zone. The point of which... Ow. The point of which is kind of like a weapons testing area. It's kind of like lots of dangerous robots and kind of dangerous places to walk around and stuff. And yeah. Yeah, okay, that does work. Quicksand, you don't want to get stuck in it. Yeah, so your goal is just kind of to explore. And there's a total of, I believe, 4 zones? Currently, 5 zones? Yeah, something like that. 5 zones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 zones. So I've been doing a lot of work on polishing. Polishing and making things work really well. Oh. This was a bad combo. Okay, so that's the idea basically. And there is music, I just have it turned off currently. Cool, okay. So now you gotta climb this thing. Without dying. So there's a variety of gameplay and stuff like that in there. Pretty good. Mick Fluxface. Alright, you're a fan of the art. That's great, that's great. And the music is really good too. Like I said, it's just off for the game because I like to listen to music while I'm developing. So it's like, you know, I'm kind of, I leave it off and, you know, listen to different artists and things while I'm making the game. But the music's really good. I'll play you a song. I think the song for this is this one. Let's see if yeah, I think it's just one. And again, Sunbox. So that's it. Somebody said, okay, firstly, sorry, somebody was sleeping and I just like turned up the volume completely out of the blue without letting anybody know. My mistake, sorry about that. Oh no. Okay, that's weird. My stream just cut out. But anyway, somebody was sleeping and I just turned up the volume like out of the blue. I should have said something, sorry. And someone else said Mick Fluxface, Mr. Face? That's what you said to call you Mr. Face? I don't remember. Anyway, he said save me from is that Evanescence? The music from like that was such a a strong, like a really strong 90s song. Like it was such a strong like 90s rock song. Wake me up since I can't wake up. Save me. Like that's such a Like, why that song, dude? Like, that's such a... It's a funny song. Okay. It's so serious, I guess. It's so serious, but it's also so, like, what's the word? Not edgy. It's, like, really just, like, angsty. It's, like, so full of angst and, like, it's just, like, but it's a really popular song, so it's just kind of funny. Okay, so that's what the game looks like so far. Each zone looks pretty good. I've been refining it and getting it looking nice. I didn't check the quit process. Let me check that real quick. Before that, let me make a sound. Sounds.play sound accept. I think I have an accept sound. I feel like I do. Cursor select. Okay, that's the name of it. Okay, so we'll do that. Do this. If sure quit prompt dot visible. Okay. Luke Johnson says the word you're looking for is dope for Evanescence's what's the name of the song? I can't even remember the name. It's Wake Me Up Inside. Is it Wake Me Up? Well, Wake Me Up Inside. Evanescence, Wake Me Up Inside. That's it. Now I gotta look to make sure I'm not an idiot. Or is it? I guess maybe it's just Wake Me Up. No, Wake Me Up Inside. Okay, that's it. Bring Me to Life. I was wrong. Okay, well, somebody's gonna catch me in chat. Okay, so this should work. Whoa, somebody just donated $1. Yo, thank you. Oh, I'm getting a call. Hold on. There's somebody. Yo, thank you, Lottie, for the $1 not subscription, the super chat, the donation. Thank you super much. Yeah, okay, I'll dance a little bit for the $1. There, the dance is over. I will not. I refuse to denigrate myself, even for money. But I appreciate the money nonetheless. It's going toward development of Gearend and possibly an ice cream cone in my near future. Okay, so let's check out this quit process, eh? It broke the game. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's because we're not supposed to have cursor select.wave because it will automatically find that. All right, let's see. Okay, that's working, but it's not working correctly. Let's see. Alright, so the problem currently... Quit cursor, quit cam, point, quit cursor down below, destroy visible... Okay, yeah, we want it to be true. Hit quit, and then destroy quit prompt, dot visible, true. Lottie, good night though. See you in another month. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll be streaming more often than like what I have been, which is like I've been missing days. I'd like to also make more streams kind of just like on just more unplanned streams, like just random stream here or there, chill streams, you know. Just to kind of hang out and stuff. Flux, can you make a dance taunt for that $1? No, it would take too much time. I can't possibly, but I can thank people. That's the most I can do currently. Okay, so the current issue we're facing is basically we want the prompt to be visible when we press the button to advance the prompt. And then, yeah, so I just changed this from false to true. That should be it. Cancel, that should work. If it's not visible, yeah, okay, cool. Alright, that should work. If it's quit possible, okay. So what this should do is basically send us into a dark void on... Flux says, call me McFace. I'm sorry, Flux. Okay, McFace. Just change your name to McFace if you want to be called McFace. Like, it's hard to remember to call people McFace when their name isn't McFace. Like, I'm sorry. If you want to be called McFace, change your name to McFace. That's the. And Luke Johnson, why would I call you Bubby McGee? Why? Why would I call you that? Why wouldn't you? Why would you have your name be? No, I'm not. Okay, Mr. All right. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop replying to either of your comments. Bubby McGee, and McFace. Why? Okay, I'm the only one who has the name that they want to be called by, basically. Luke Johnson, Bubby McGee. I don't. That's just like why? Okay, so why is this not showing up? Why is the quit cursor invisible? Oh wait. Let's see. So that works, but it's not working correctly. Also, that's strange. Let's see. Shouldn't end... Yeah, requested end be true. Okay, that's strange. Or is it... Just need to see something real quick. Remove... Okay, that doesn't call end. Okay. Okay, that's right. Let's see. Everybody's changing their names now. Bubby McGee says, "This is the last time I'll say it. Call me Luke Johnson." Okay, so everyone's changing their name. Islander Soda says, "My name isn't Islander Soda. My mother named me Slander Iota." Of course you did. Of course you get it. You all. Okay. Let's just continue. Let's get through this last couple of minutes of this stream where I don't have to deal with any of you anymore. I don't have to change people's names. I don't have to respond to people. Why is this? I'm trying to figure out like what exactly is going on, because I feel like this should basically kill all existing scenes, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. Oh, jeez. Islander Soda, do you only use Solus? Yes, I only use Solus. I have a Windows operating system on my computer. I have another I have another partition, another drive with it on it, but I don't actually use Windows very often. It takes like 20 minutes to boot into Windows on my computer for whatever reason. It's almost like a fresh install too, so I'm like, I can only assume it's because my drives are like literally 15 years old, and Linux is just like a champ about it. It doesn't really complain, but Windows is like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna boot with this. But yeah, I basically only use Solus. BSim says, I just noticed I saw your pixel art tutorials before. Yeah. Oh, you mean you just noticed it's me? It's yeah. I've been making pixel art tutorials for a few years now, and they seem to be getting, you know, pretty viewed. And same thing with Sunbox tutorials. I've made a lot of them as well. Genome36 says changing nickname is too mainstream for me. He puts his glasses on. Yes, of course. Let's see. Artrad, SolarLoon. Have you ever used GameMaker? Yes, I have, but it's been years since I used GameMaker, like, seriously. Bubby says, they're the videos that got me into pixel art. Oh, that's great. Okay, let's see. So what's going on with this, with our scene list loop here? Something isn't working correctly. Islander Soda says, were you on TigSource? Yes, I was. I still am. From time to time. Gearend has a devlog up there. Nothing really... I haven't posted on it in a long time, just because... in like maybe 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. Because I've been just working pretty reliably. Yeah, I thought this was doing this. This is just... Oh, wait a second. Is it because... Oh my goodness. It's because it's paused. I just now figured that out. Okay. You see, when you pause a scene, I just realized there's a bug in our code, how this works. When you pause a scene, it can't detect if it should kill, remove the scene. Like, whether, let's see. Yeah, this part, if requested end, this needs to lie outside of the run object logic loop, because if you pause the scene, it can't, like, exit. So that's something I need to do. Artrad says GameMaker Studios 2, GameMaker Studio 2 just came out and has a streamlined, modern, redone workflow and stuff. I recommend checking it out. Yeah, I saw that they recently, like, they just made a beta for Mac. The Mac build. The Mac. This is ridiculous. The Mac build, the Mac build of GameMaker. So, like, that's great. It's kind of strange in this day and age and year. Well, let's not even bring the year into that, because you see a lot of that from, you know, very often when people talk about, like, oh, it's 2017. Are we still, you know, not having 60 FPS, you know, 1080p video games? It's like, yeah, okay, let's drop the year. It's 2017 mention, because that you can always say it's 20XX. It's, you know, 30XX. So, yeah, it's just kind of strange for especially GameMaker, which can export to different platforms, to not support an editor on all the on at least all the desktop platforms it supports. Like, it doesn't have Linux and Mac. Like, how do you like how? I don't understand that. So hopefully they get, you know, I'm glad that they have the Mac one running, and I hope that they get the other ones running as well. Okay, so the current state of things, this doesn't work because the scene is paused. So either we need to unpause the scene, which we can do like this, or we can go ahead and just fix the bug, which I'm going to do. I'm going to add a note. Okay. So that's something I need to look into and fix on my own time. But this should work at least. At least. So all these people are just like talking in chat about hashtag Game Blender, which is a IRC location. Okay, that worked, kind of. Although strangely, it didn't end this scene. That's weird. Let's see. ArtRad. I literally just realized that you wouldn't be able to run the GameMaker IDE on Solos there. Probably not. I might be able to do it with Wine. Could do it with Wine, probably, possibly. But yeah, not sure. You know what? I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play something real quick. Just kind of wanted to do this real quick. I want to see how this turns out. I need to restart my computer too. That might be a good idea. Get some music going again. I just kind of wanted to mention this. I actually, well, it's already been an hour and 40 minutes. I guess I'll just stop it here, because otherwise I'd be going for another like hour and a half. But something I was going to play is called Cogmind. Like that's, it's an interesting game. Like it's basically a roguelike, kind of tile-based roguelike, like you would imagine kind of old school roguelikes, how they looked and played, but it's a little more like detail. You play a robot, like you can kind of control your, like, kind of equip different things, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. Uh-oh. My chair is falling apart. B-Sim says, do you have Dead Cells? Nope. I ain't got it. Don't have it right now, but maybe I will soon. Maybe. Probably not. I don't think it's on Linux. But that's okay. There's a lot of games that are, so maybe I'll be playing one of them. Or maybe it works with Wine. Or something. We'll see. Alright, well anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to sign off basically now. And look into fixing some bugs and finishing that quit screen so that it properly works. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully we'll see the game. You'll see a video on my channel saying, hey, Gearend's done. You can try it out. Please, you know, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. You'll see that hopefully soon. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. It's been real. And, yeah. I'll see you soon. See ya.